Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Design Cuts live session. And I'm always excited to be joined by the lovely, the wonderful Jimbo and Taya from ShoutBAM. How are you both?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. We are great. Hope you're doing good too.
Pretty great, yeah. A bit rainy in Barcelona, but all good. Okay, so you know that we always start with some typography. Since this is not an entirely typography class,
Yes.
just go ahead and, I mean, if you've been
Use
here,
a font
or use a font,
something you did previously that you really liked,
Yeah.
or even didn't. Yeah.
exactly. For sure, in a lot of our sessions, you did already like few
Exactly,
letters.
yeah.
So just for this exercise, just grab one because it's gonna be way enough for you to
Because
do
we are
stuff.
basically just trying to figure out how the brushes work. Yeah.
Exactly.
How to decorate.
So today also I'm gonna show you a technique, watercolor technique that it's not used by a lot of watercolor artists. We are not watercolor artists, so we try to find something that could be easier for someone who's not super comfortable around watercolors. And yeah, and that's gonna be like with a couple taps on the screen, and there's gonna be some nice effects. So yeah. This is something that I painted for my mom, actually, with real paint.
Oh.
I have it somewhere in my Instagram. So I did the sketch with the iPad, and I thought, why not to use it today? Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to use one of these canvases here. So here I've created so two artworks, right, for the wet and for the dry. Also, I put the sketch down so I know where I am. So the first thing you're gonna do is to spray one of these textures. They are seamless, so you can just grab a fat size and just, I'm gonna use the canvas probably, or the art paper, well, whatever it is, it's fine. Get a dark color, I would say black, and then you can retouch it a little, and on a layer on top of everything, just go ahead and just spray it here. And yeah, that's it. You got a paper. You can see it here. Now you can play a little bit with these things. I always like it to multiply. And also, if you see that it's too strong, because sometimes, see, if you go over twice, it's maybe too much. But yeah, you can just play with the opacity or with the modes. Okay, so now that we have this, what do we do? Dry or wet first?
I think dry is
dry,
winning.
dry,
I'm
dry,
trying
wet,
to-
wet.
A lot of dries. I think dry
see
wins it.
But I think dry
lot
is
of dry.
winning, yeah.
Okay, let's do dry. But don't worry, we're gonna do wet as well. We're gonna have time for sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna run you through what do we have here. We have, we always divided. We always have liners, inkers. We've also included some wash brushes here, a wall roller.
So you can always play a lot.
Yeah, all these are sampled
Mhm.
from real life. I think we did hundreds of real paint papers, and we scanned everything. So everything in here is well, actually, if you go see inside, you go to the shapes, and they're always gonna be something different. So I'm gonna start using something smaller, and I'm gonna show you. Let's say the rough liner or the China ink or even the dry inker. I'm just gonna show you a little bit here on the side. So we go to dry, and you see that we're gonna get different textures, right? So for example, if we did, like, let's say, I'm gonna try to copy this U a little, but you can see that that depending on the level of roughness you want in your letter, you can use one brush or the other. I would always say that it's a good way to start with something like this, but you can also, let's say, you can also use, we also have the chalky if you want something more, like kind
Something
of
more
raw,
dusty and yeah.
I love the texture on that, by the way. Stunning.
That is one. I think this texture has one of the papers, doesn't it?
I feel like there's not enough
Well,
dry brushes. That's probably why everyone in the community right now is saying dry, dry, dry.
Ah, okay, it can be.
It
They're not
might
as
be,
common,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of watercolor brushes I think out there, but yeah, you don't see much dry.
Also, gotta tell you
versions.
that you can also do nice stuff with the there's a lot of packs, especially our friend has one called Claudia has this hair pack,
Ah, okay.
and that, I mean, it's too clean, but you can still get these brushes that are kind of like more, when you get a dry,
more dry, like you're doing it with a dry
like
brush
you're
on the paper.
exactly, you have like a
Yeah.
lot of hairs
Yeah,
going
yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah.
So this pack started with this brush that I'm using now. It all started like with this one, and then from here we said, hey, this kind of looks cool, because
Yeah,
you
this
can.
actually Sam said it looks like charcoal. That's actually true.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it does.
But it has this, like this hair property to it, so like I think the best way to define this would be if you get a like a flat brush for walls, and you kind of paint it a bit with charcoal, and then
And then you kind of smudge it around.
yes, because you're using still the hairs but with charcoal.
Mm.
Anyway, so what was good about this one is that I'm gonna paint it in one color, but we liked about this is that you can build up different shadows and shades. So you could start like this, and then you can go to another one and maybe get a lighter tone somewhere here. Maybe this could be smaller. You see, so
You can build it up pretty nicely, and they kind of go together.
and let's say something darker, even with let's say the scratchy one. This one is like really a lot of separate lines, but you can also use it for for something like that. So as you
Those
can
colors
see,
are seriously so beautiful.
yeah, so okay, so let's go ahead and do a little flower, for example.
Yeah, I think you can delete this
Yeah, I
layer.
can
Yeah.
delete that and start over. So for now, we're gonna keep the typography dark. Just gonna put it like this, and then I'm gonna start building it up. So for this, I'm gonna maybe build it up with the pink one. And let's go super random and choose one of the brushes, like whatever you want, like
I think it should be more sketchy, more
okay, but for the base.
inking. Exactly.
So some dry inker.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Let's make it a bit smaller. So right now, I'm just gonna, again, we always have these sessions and they're 1 hour. And I want for the people that are beginners, that they could achieve the best results using these brushes. So in both techniques, I'm gonna go through something that everybody can follow, and I think it's gonna be really useful for all of you. So, okay, I just did the shape. Now just drop the color inside, and you can just have this shape. I'm gonna bring this sketch up on top so I see what I'm doing. Actually, it was better with the normal one, like this. I'm gonna bring the opacity down, and now I'm going to start doing the shadows. So I'm gonna select the dark color. I'm gonna go down here and start getting the scratches or the well, let me see. Let's start with the OG, this one. So what we want to do is a new layer and a clipping mask so we don't go bananas all over the thing, and start spraying it. So remember that if you start adding pressure in the beginning and then you leave it, you're gonna get transparency in the end. So, and again, the more you press, the more ink you're gonna have, like with every Procreate brush. So something like that. Probably now I'm just gonna use the graphite a little bit so we get a little bit more. The key is also try to change all the time sizes and try to play with the possibilities that Procreate has. Also, a little tip that I just discovered with the new Procreate is that if you go up here in the size and then you tap here, you can tap on the plus sign.
Okay.
And now this size is gonna be saved. So let's say that you want this size and then you want a small one, but you don't want to go in between these two. You can save, and now Procreate allows you to
You can
just
save the
you
favorite
see
scale of
I-
a brush, of a certain brush.
I've never
What's
seen that
that?
before. What a cool
Yeah.
feature.
it's from the new
The new
update.
update.
Super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you were aware of that feature or not.
It's so cool. Okay, now I'm adding some lights. Okay, you can add this on a different layer, but I'm just gonna pretend that I'm painting on a real paper. Okay, so let's say now we have the lights. Even you can even bring them down, so you get all this nice texture. So paint more lights up and then down a couple here, a couple there. So you're gonna get all this. Okay, now we're gonna paint on top of this. We're gonna paint with this. This one is gonna be all right, I think. So this flower has this little shape here. So we're gonna paint this. All right, and then here there is another one. So this is one of the folds of the plant that allow, you know, a bit more realism to the piece. There you go. And then I'm gonna get one of the other
Beth
ones.
says, wow, that one line totally changes everything.
It actually does. That's true.
It's like depth immediately.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, now do it again. Just again, build up.
Do you mind if I fire some questions at you as
Go
you're
ahead.
working?
Go ahead.
How long roughly did it take to create this amazingly wonderful set of new brushes?
That's a good one. Realistically speaking, months.
Wow.
Right? Because there was a lot of because it's not a pack that we did consistently, you know, like we said,
Yes.
we didn't sit and say, let's do this pack. So we were building brushes, you know, because we
Exactly.
thought, listen, this is going to be good for this and for that. And then at some point we realized that we
have like a nice set of brushes already that we could that we can create a set out of.
Exactly. And now Bill is thinking, they didn't say anything saying this because we basically didn't reply to your question because there is no time here.
But I guess like it was taking us a bit less than a month to actually do everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So once
and
we
also
had
we
the brushes,
punched a lot of work like immediately before the release. This is where we are the strongest, when the presentation is on and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So once, you know, I think once we did the cover, that it took us. Covers are always the most important part for us. You know, first the brushes have to make sense, and you have to find utility to the brushes.
Of course.
That's why we asked, and we knew right away that these ones are gonna be good because people were, you know, were
Bill
excited
answered.
about it.
I'm sorry.
No,
Bill
go ahead.
answered that the answer is actually super helpful, and I don't know if he's sarcastic or not.
Are you being sarcastic, Bill?
Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
No. No, exactly that. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying.
Oh.
No. It's good. I was probably bubbling. I think I said that for us the cover is the most important. Once we know that the brushes have interest by the community and they've seen them and you
Exactly.
know, and they work, right? So we did the cover, and I think the cover took us, let's say, 3 days or something like that. And then after the cover, we started doing the you know, the graphics, and we started doing illustrations.
Presentations, yeah.
So I believe like the whole illustrative part, apart from the cover, was what, 2 weeks, something
Exactly,
like that.
something like this, yeah.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
you know, more
But
or
yeah,
less.
this time the process were more like a bit more scattered, I guess. It didn't come all in one time because we were like doing brushes before.
Exactly. This time was.
But like you said, it came from real world projects that you're working on. So I
Exactly.
think that's a really interesting
Exactly.
way to conceive of brushes.
Yeah, we're actually happy to see that, you know.
Because sometimes client has like a clear vision of what they want, and then you're like, okay, I have an idea. What brush do I need to make this illustration?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also I think this one's a the good thing is that you've seen the vinyl we designed, and that was a pro bono job because that the music industry got really damaged during the pandemic. And so a band from my town decided to release some new music and stuff. So then I decided that we're gonna do it pro bono because obviously they didn't have the money to pay for it. So and obviously they didn't ask for free work. They wanted to pay us, and we said no, we're gonna do it. And that's how we started doing this style and the brushes. And in
Also,
the end, look,
since Jimbo
That's really
is
cool of you.
a musician and singer and a rock star, he has a thing for like hungry musicians. So yeah.
What brush are you using for the shadow on the leaf?
for this thing, the dry shader brush.
Amazing. Thanks.
That if you have the freebie, you could. Well, yeah, there is not much, but you could still use the scratchy dry brush or even the dry inker. If you bring it a bit down, you can also do
A nice shade.
nice lines here. Yeah. So
Perfect.
okay, so now I'm just gonna do a little thing that we kind of do and did in the presentation. So I'm gonna get one of these brushes and I'm gonna do a layer on top of everything. For me, it's gonna be on top of the main plant, and I'm just going to put it into color. That's gonna keep the shadows and the lights and everything the way they are, but just we're gonna change the tonality of what we draw on top of this. And this is something that I don't know why, but I got hooked to do in a lot of projects, and it's just you do this little kind of like painting here, like
This is your thing now, I
this
think.
is my thing.
Yeah.
This is totally my thing. But
But I like how it looks.
you can have
Mm.
you can
Nice
have
effect.
a little fun here. Maybe you can put a couple. You can decorate the piece a little bit. Maybe you could paint even the tip, like it's still green or it's growing at the moment. Or but okay, so now let's say that we have a dry thing, and now we're gonna put the typography on top.
It did feel like it came together super quickly, but it looks
But
stunning.
Yeah.
it actually did go fast.
It did go fast. Yeah. Now also, since we have the paper texture on top, you can also try to. I mean, let's say like we could. Okay, let's group all the flower, and then we can just move it around a little bit and see what happens. Yeah, I like it like this. And now you could, for example, if you had a lot of flowers, let's say, let me do something really fast. So we go here and we select just the flower, and then we go here, copy canvas. That's gonna copy what I have in the canvas right now. And then I'm just gonna show you an example. So now we have the texture, we have this, and we have the type. So one of the things that you could try is that if you start, building it up and you add more flowers and all that, let's say now I pasted this one, but obviously you're gonna have different ones. But if you start drawing across this whole thing, let's say we start putting things around here and maybe even another one somewhere down there. Again, this is just an example, okay? But if you want to generate some kind of a negative thought processes, yeah. It's hard to think while I create things though. So now, if you want to create some kind of a negative typography effect going on, you can select the white color and bring it here, and you see you can get something pretty cool. So
you basically make the background full of flowers, so you can create a negative space out of
exactly.
typography.
And since it's something that if we have the background on top, that's gonna look like we actually drew these flowers and kind of cut this thing through, you know, like doing the flower. Okay,
That is
so
magic. We had a question actually about the background.
yeah,
What canvas is it in the back? Is it watercolor paper?
maybe yeah, I use the so in the pack you can find 3 canvases. I use them in the beginning of the session.
Yeah, I
What,
think
Tana?
you use the
Canvas.
dotty. No,
Canvas,
I use
yeah.
the canvas one.
So with these ones, I mean, or maybe you could even get a well, we released a set a few months ago. I said before that had
The
like
ultimate
how many of them?
background set. Yeah.
The ultimate background set had a bunch of backgrounds, and we made them into seamless patterns. So what's easy about them is that you can just go ahead and spray them, and so you see you get this, and that's the paper. And
Amazing.
That's pretty much it.
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna try the other
clarifying.
ones, and this is the third one that it got. This is more like a some embossed paper, and then you can bring it down, and
I like this one.
you can
with the little
also
dots,
so just you can experiment. I'm a fan of the canvas. I always use the normal canvas one. Like this is also watercolor paper, so when scanned it's kind of like the same texture, but okay. So now we have the dry ones. Just another tip for the dry one. So we go up here on the typography, we do a clipping mask, and you can also let's say you could use this flat brush strokes, and let's say you could also just tap and you stamp them there, and then just you can see what looks better. But I think, what do you think?
No, it's just I like that you do this. This is your thing, yeah.
This is my thing with the stamping things around. Yeah, that's actually true. So okay, let's leave this one for now, and then now we are going to go to the wet ones, and I'm gonna explain you the technique fast, and then I'm gonna just run you through how to convert the dry into a bit wet as well. Okay.
Amazing. What paints and textures did you use for creating the brushes? I bet that was really fun to do.
Yeah. So that was created in my parents' house, and we bought a lot of like tools that are basically like brushes that we used for some murals in the past that we have in my parents' place. Then we used, oh man, it was some.
So we can like spray the ink in different manners, and that
Yeah.
it gets like different textures and different shapes.
The most important thing that we did is we took. Wait, let me think. Yeah, we got the really nice paper. So that was super important because like when you do the blobs, and now you're gonna see the blobs for watercolor, but those were just us, dropping water and dropping ink, so it was like super messy. And we did it in the past, and like in the past we used 150-gram paper, and it started getting wrinkled. And then when you scan it, like some parts are blurry, and because the scanner is not
it's
getting
like
them
buckling.
well. Yeah.
Were your parents
So-
like, how dare you make all this mess in my house?
No, actually we cleaned.
No.
Everything is good. Everything
And
is
they're
cool.
used to him.
Messing things
Yes.
around. Yeah. Every time we go there, it's kind of like it's more like an artsy time. We are in this town, and it's we have the tools there, and there's more time to paint furniture and paint on things by hand. And there's a lot of brushes actually
cool.
that have been there. Actually, the background brushes were done in their place as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, the wet things. Wet is watercolor, so all of this is watercolors, and you can find from the different watercolor builders. That's just watercolor. When you get some watercolor on water. This is for painting. You get this is my favorite, the Galaxy. So it's because it's also scattered and random, and I like random things. But you see,
It's super cool.
so the more pressure you add, the more mess you get. Also, this time we played a lot with. Let me see which ones were, but I think we played a lot with what was this one? Wait. Some of them are dual brushes. We started playing with this a few months ago. This was an update already from Procreate 5X, I believe. But this allowed us to give a bit more randomness to the whole shebang. So this is my favorite watercolor that we did.
You should say what's the name of it.
This
maybe?
is called Foggy Watercolor Brush. Our names are always super creative, so it's not real watercolor brushes or anything.
No,
it's
because
just...
I think it's very important to give it a name so people can find it easier. I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
no,
At
it's
least I
more
think
memorable.
and also
Yes,
and to also know what it should be used for.
that's for sure good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for now, I'm gonna show you a couple techniques. So one would be, and if we have time, it's 4:38. Yes, we still have time. So let's do it in pink.
Of
What?
course. No. Yeah.
Yeah, pink is my favorite color. You know that. So, as I said in the beginning, we're not watercolor artists. So we try to find techniques that actually can take you there in not so much time. And to build up some textures, we're gonna use some blobs. So in the pack, there is 25 blobs. And now I'm gonna start using them in a random way. So create a layer on top of the letters and start putting blobs around. So put different ones, not that big. Something like that, then something like this, something here. If there is any watercolor artist in the room, you can criticize what I'm doing because it's wrong, and I know, but it gives you the thing, and you're gonna see it now.
That texture looks so sharp, though. It's great.
Yeah, the scans. I mean, the papers were kind of big. And again, the scanner was not something from the other world. So there you go. Something here. Again, if you know how to paint watercolor, you can use these ones up and start building up your textures, and that's totally fine. And that's why these brushes are made for everybody. But since we don't have a lot of time, we just... And now let's see if it cannot get more random than this. And let's say a couple more here, and there. Okay, now we have a big mess. Now what I want you to do...
But a pretty mess.
A pretty mess, yeah. Now what I want you to do is you go to the typography, you tap with the pen, you go on select, and then without touching anything, you go to your mess and then select it, and then tap on mask. And now you have this thing that it has the watercolor textures.
Wow, and you just
Inside the
hid
letters.
the original letter layers, right?
Exactly. I just hid that.
Yeah, just let the paper show through. Stunning.
Exactly. So that's it. Now what you could do is, if you know more, you can add more shadows, and you can start building up with the brushes that we have up. So for instance, you could I don't know, this is literally your decision, but you can start, let's say, building up something here, or even on top of a new layer. You can also do that here. There you go. If you see that some parts are like kind of not strong enough, you can also go ahead here. Try with different brushes. Let's go ahead and try with the free ones. So this is a way to do the letters. Okay. Now, when I finish this, I'm just gonna paint a little bit of the flower so you see what happens. So now just take some of these brushes. For example, I'm gonna get the foggy one, but you can take anything. And now, since we don't want the watercolor to be so precise, we're just gonna go ahead and on the original mask. So now we're kind of like transforming the mask that we had. So up here, and with a white color, we're gonna start painting so it's kind of bleeding outside. And this is when the magic happens, because now this thing starts looking like a...
I love it because it looks super seamless, it's like blends together and it just like, wow.
This one,
Usually you don't want this to happen, right? But it gives like a nice magic touch.
Exactly.
There are no rules when you're painting.
Yes, that's true.
Not at all. Again, this is like the same as you have your, you've been super precise, and then you splatter some water on it, or you mess it up, or just maybe you want this freestyle watercolor. There's also this the number 9, it's water. There is no pigment in this. So if you paint outside, so like for instance, now I'm painting here in the middle, you cannot see it, but nothing is going to show because there is no pigment in this brush. It's just water. So
it's just going to use the already
exactly
color.
It's going to use the pigment, and you can just start building some. And then let's use the sample.
It's pretty delicate looking.
Yeah.
Sam says, what amazes me is that Jimbo's using the brush, not the smudge tool, and it still makes it look seamless.
Sam, I never use the smudge tool. It's a great tool. It's a great tool, and some people really know how to use it. But I think you can get pretty much similar things with normal brushes. I mean, with normal brushes, with the brush tool. I know that with the smudge tool you can also use brushes, but I'm just not used to it, I guess. But thanks. Okay, so you could just go on and on and on and on. This is, don't overdo it though, because then it looks too messy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we have this, what we're gonna do is to go ahead and well, let me see what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're gonna add a layer in the background, and now we're gonna add a couple more blobs. I'm gonna use the sample set ones and just stem them. Here is just just try, if you have the bag, try the other ones, or if you have other watercolor brushes as well. But you see, just with a couple stems, this is the ones that come with the freebie, but you can also use again, just maybe even the galaxy one, just so it adds a bit of randomness. And then a couple like maybe one of the blobs somewhere here, and then maybe something like that looks pretty okay, I believe. Okay, and now that you have this, the last thing you could do is to go ahead here and go with the drops and the splashes. So you could add on top, for example, a new layer, and you can add a few drops, maybe somewhere here, somewhere there, and
maybe
then
make it a bit. Yeah, okay.
No, tell me.
No, to make it a bit bigger. That's it.
Yeah. I love this one, but this is too much. I really like this one. It's
good for a band poster.
We have this done, right? Now, we don't have time for the flowers because it's 4:50, but now it's maybe, everything has the same color. So maybe we want to do it a little bit different, add some new colors or some things like that. So there is a bunch of things you could do. Some of the brushes have a little bit of, different colors in them. So, when you paint with a watercolor, probably you painted with a green color before, and then you didn't dry good, and then you went to the blue color. But then when the blue color runs out, then you still get a bit of green from before. So some of the builders have, a little bit like that it's not going to give you the same color all the time, but different shades. But now, since we don't have time, we're gonna get the wet thing. So all of it together, I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna flatten it, hide the other one, and then here I'm gonna add a new layer, a clipping mask, and then I'm gonna use similar tones, and then I'm going to get any brush, and then I'm just gonna put it into color. Okay, that's the mode that is down. And let's see, maybe with this builder. I don't know if you feel the difference here, but I'm changing a little bit of the color. So
yeah, I think maybe we should change a bit.
I'm just gonna go
a
little bit crazy here. So a bit of red here. Let's say, I don't know, some more purple. So you see it, okay? So this is really ugly though. So again, just and if you want to see it better, I can even add a bit of green. Okay, so yeah, I'm just putting a bit of greens here, and now even if you don't like it, you can go up there to saturation and change it and see if you like something. Let's say this.
Super cool.
So that's how to make watercolors really easy for everybody. And if you have flowers, you can use similar techniques to what we did before. Just keep building and start with that neutral color, and then add some shadows, and then add some some other little things around.
Embellishments and details.
Embellishments,
yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Incredible.
And that's it. And I'm just gonna leave this here because this is what I did the other day. And
oh, it's so beautiful. And such a great example. You can see the wet and the dry in one illustration, working so well together.
Yeah, because here you
can
have
see
the dry,
and then you can see the wet things.
It's awesome. Everyone, let's give it up for Jimbo and Taya. Incredible session as ever. I love the contrast of the two styles. Jimbo, Taya, thank you again, and chat soon.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Ciao.